All right, welcome everyone. We're just about to begin our webinar on tips for marketing your transit services and technology. From Lethbridge Transit, we have Abby Slovak, and she's the Planning and Technology Manager over there. As well, we also have Adrian Mortz, who has experience working as a community relationships manager at Frederick County. Now, both of these individuals have had great success bringing new technologies to the riders, but also getting the word out to improve engagement of these technologies. So welcome both of you.
Thanks.
So first off, So first off, I thought it'd be good to get a little background from both of you, just with respect of your agencies. Like I mentioned, you've been expanding your offerings lately and adding new technologies. So how about we start with you, Abby, and learn a little bit more about what you guys are doing?
Okay. So at Lethbridge Transit, we've come a long way as far as technology goes over the last 5-6 years. Back in 2011, we introduced our Breeze card, so our smart card fare payment system. We moved into a new facility, we rebranded our system, then we hired TripSpark and we purchased and implemented their Streets product for conventional. We did My Ride, put rangers on all of our 42 buses, and we also added digital wayside signs in our downtown terminal. On the Paratransit side, we purchased Novus, Rangers, and Ripple from TripSpark, and we're also in the works of purchasing the new online booking module for Novus.
Great, thank you for that quick overview. Which one of those are actually riding-facing technologies?
So My Ride would be rider-facing, the Ripple product would, and the online booking as well.
Those are some new technologies that I guess actual passengers and riders would be engaging to, and items that we'd have to try to market and get people engaged in using them. So that's great. So it's just not back office stuff. And also from you, Adrian, I know Frederick County has put in some new technologies lately. Can you kind of give us an overview of what you guys have been up to?
Yeah, absolutely. We're in Frederick County, Maryland, on the east coast of the United States, and we have about 840,000 yearly one-way trips. So we're about a medium-sized agency in the state of Maryland, and we are on the cusp of the D.C. region, so we face a lot of commuter traffic, people going to and from the D.C. region. We had a lot of major employers in our county. We have some military bases, a lot of biotechnological firms, and some interesting dynamics. So our ridership base is really varied. We have a really nice demographic. And we've recently implemented the mobile ticketing app to kind of make it easier and more simplistic for people to have all their ticketing options. We pin it as an all-in-one solution for riding transit in Frederick County. You can get your tickets, plan your trip, and get access to all of our other resources like our website and our Twitter feed.
So one quick question on those new technologies. How did you kind of nail down that those are the technologies that you wanted to really offer to your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just took a look at what our riders wanted, and we had only been using cash and paper tickets as a ticketing method for since our inception, really. So we knew it was time to get a new type of technology. We knew it was time to kind of update our system, but we, are financially constrained, as many systems are. So we kind of said mobile ticketing is the most cost-effective and literally requires no infrastructure. And I think that was one of the most important deciding factors, is that instead of us implementing, a swipe card system, which would take, time, resources, and a lot more, dollars, mobile ticketing was the best for us because, again, it required no infrastructure. It was really something we could design with TripSpark from the ground up. It was really a great process. We were a part of every single aspect of the mobile ticketing app, from the design to the color scheme to what was included, what wasn't, which really made it nice for our agency because, we are the ones that are familiar with the riders. So, mobile ticketing was kind of the next step for us. It was a low-cost, easily implemented option that required no infrastructure, and so that's how we decided on that. And in general, we're just looking to make, convenience measures for our riders. So we're looking at automatic vehicle locators and other technologies that really increase convenience for our ridership.
Thank you. And Abby, same question to you. How did you kind of narrow down the specific technologies you wanted to offer your riders?
So I think the big thing for us is to try to stay in the loop with what's available in the industry. We look at the benefits of the different pieces of technology, how it can enhance our system and improve the lives of our customers taking transit. And then we look at how that will fit into our specific transit system. Then we sort of dig a little deeper. When we decide on something that we're interested in, we will look to our peers, go to other transit agencies to understand what it is they've chose to implement, sort of some of the risks or some of the challenges that they had throughout their projects, so we can be aware of those. And then, moving forward, the next part then is to secure funding to dig into the project. So we try to find grant funding if we can, or sometimes we have to go to our city council and ask them to dig into their coffers if it's something that we really think is important and we want to move forward on.
So I guess the next question that I want to touch on is more kind of the marketing related side of these different technologies. Obviously through the process you're analyzing what riders wanted, and you would have had to look at, different demographic data about how you were going to market them. But Abby, maybe you can tell us a bit about kind of the materials that you created and why you created them, but also how you reached out to your riders and kind of advertised, if you will, the new technologies that they would be interacting with.
Lethbridge has both a college and a university and attracts between 13,000 and 15,000 students per year. So with this new technology that we've recently implemented, we really wanted to hit those younger riders with the technology. So with our marketing materials, we tried to use images and language that was familiar to the younger generation. As you can see on the slide, we developed some brochures for MyRide and our new texting service also. We added things to our ride guide and on our website. We put some ads in the student handbooks and the agendas for the college and university students. We've put stuff on the city social media. We've attended different events throughout the community. Like we always try to go to the new student orientations for the college and the U. We also do ones, we did one this year, it was called the Ready, Set, Go Fair. So it's for underpoverished youth, so it's about getting them ready for school and giving out school supplies, but we also gave them out lots of information on how to access our system and take advantage of the technology. The big thing for our online presence is to ensure that everything was mobile friendly. Looking at the analytics on our city website, we're seeing for transit information, most people, I think it's upwards of 80% of people are pulling information from a mobile device. So we really worked with you guys, with TripSpark, to make sure when we did our MyRide that it was very user friendly on a mobile device. So all of our marketing materials, we want to make sure it looks good on a mobile device.
Do you think there was a specific form of advertising or anything like that worked the best? You mentioned like community events, you did some kind of traditional ads, some different pamphlet type things. Was there one that you thought maybe worked the best that other people could kind of leverage?
I think, to be honest, the little print brochure that we did for MyRide, when we put that out, we put it right with our ride guides on our buses, and our customers, when they get on the bus, each of them are looking for the new MyRide to see, or the ride guide, to see if there's an update to a route or a schedule, and we do those a couple times a year. So I think by putting that brochure with the information right with the ride guide, it really got people information about it right away.
We did have one question come in here, Abby, because we keep actually mentioning MyRide. Someone asked, is MyRide also a ticketing app or only a real-time travel tool?
So right now with MyRide, you can go on there, you can see where your bus is in real time on a map, you can plan your transit trip, you can create favorites in there. So if you ride a particular route or board at a particular stop each day, you can add those to your favorites. We're actually working with TripSpark right now to add a piece to MyRide where you can go on there and reload your Breeze card online right on the MyRide web app.
And then we'll hop over to Adrian and hear kind of what they have in store over at Frederick County for their kind of marketing plans and getting the word out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, especially when it comes to apps, you'll notice that there's a common theme. Just a few characteristics that are really making, those apps very popular, and they're simple, they're convenient, they're easy to use, and they're really an all-in-one kind of solution. So that was our goal with Transit Easy Fare, which is our mobile ticketing app. And related to the question, it's interesting to see how similar our efforts are to Abby's. We have a little bit of variation, but we do very similar things with the print brochures, online, social media, a lot of community outreach events. So I think that's kind of similar across any kind of technology you implement at any kind of agency. Really, a good variety in marketing and advertising was really important to us. So we did that in a variety of ways. Here you can see our website. So we made a big effort to really simplify our website. Our website wasn't responsive, meaning it wasn't good for mobile phones until about December, and then the county transitioned. So that was really great for us because that was about the same time that our mobile ticketing app launched. So we put stuff on our front page. We made the mobile app icon on our website the very first thing people would see. We know that people visit our website to get simplistic information like a route number or a stop time, which they can now access with the mobile ticketing app. So we wanted that to be the first thing that they see. We also included links where they could download the app right from the front page of our website, which really made it nice. So we did a variety of traditional kind of advertising and content marketing to really increase our brand awareness. So we did on-bus ads, which is the yellow ad with the sunglasses there. We did, what was neat, we put them on the ceiling of our buses. They're called Michelangelo ads. They're a little bit new in the bus advertising realm for us anyway. That was really nice because they're very large ads, 2 feet by 3 feet, so they capture a lot of attention. We did them in English and Spanish and had 2 different designs, so we were really able to get the best bang for the buck. And then we, of course, added the mobile ticketing information to all of our brochures. Just like Abby mentioned, our print brochures are in hundreds of locations throughout our county. We hand those out at community events. They're on all of our buses. So having the information about new technologies on your brochures is crucial, especially for those who don't have access to the internet or like to find out information through the print brochures. They're kind of readily available. So with that in mind, we created a small business card with our mobile ticketing app information. It had how to download it, easy steps on how to use it, and a QR code that would take them directly to the download link. And I think that was one of the best things we produced because they were extremely inexpensive. They were very easy to give away at tabling events. As you know, at community events or even at bus stops, people are in a hurry. They don't have time to stand around and talk to you a lot of times. So something like that business card was great because we knew people could throw it into their pocket and look at it later. So we think that really helped us, especially at the beginning, get that awareness out about the app. And then we also included it in a lot of our projects. So that same yellow ad on the screen there was part of our Summer Freedom Pass, which appeals to students aged 13 to 22, so high school and college students. And we saw about 30% of our Summer Freedom Pass sales turned into app downloads because, it's convenient for that rider demographic. It's simplistic, and it made it all in one for them. So that's how we really pushed it on that project. To the right of that, you'll see an advertisement we did for our tourism magazine. We have a large tourist traffic in our county. However, we're a fairly small county as compared to major metropolitan cities. We have about 265,000 people in our entire county. So many people in larger cities are familiar with public transportation. They use it every day. So we really tried to encourage that by making a points of interest map for our tourists, all different places you could go, dining, shopping, retail, using public transportation. And with our mobile ticketing app, we made a one-day pass where people could explore as many places as they could ever dream of for only $4. So we really tried to tie in our mobile ticketing app to projects like our tourist efforts. And then finally, we worked with TripSpark to make the first in the country, I'm pretty sure, an online ticket center where vendors or agencies or even individuals could log in online, purchase mobile tickets and push them to individual cell phones. So a good example would be a mom was sending a child to school. The mother or father wants to buy the child bus tickets, but they're not physically with each other. Well, instead of just giving them cash or buying a paper ticket through the mail, they can now log in online, purchase a ticket, and push it to their child's cell phone. The same with agencies who usually purchase tickets from us in bulk can now do that online. So we, of course, push that out through a lot of content marketing newsletters to our agencies, email blasts, and web banners on our website. So we use a big variety of advertising and kind of awareness techniques, and a lot with social media, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Great. This is just kind of a general question, but how much advertising do you plan on doing in the future? Obviously, you have your core base of riders, but you mentioned tourism's big. You have different people jump in to take rides. How do you kind of, on an ongoing basis, get the word out about your services?
Well, that's a great point you bring up. We do have a variety of demographics that use our services. We are all under one roof. So we have our public transit, our paratransit, and our commuter services, which are very different demographics. And I think that's the most important thing when you're determining how you're going to advertise or what marketing you're going to use. You need to determine what your demographic is. So we really define our demographic and then push the marketing to them. For instance, we're not going to push our Summer Freedom Pass ads for high school and college students to our commuters who are traveling to DC because it's a different demographic. So each year, our fiscal year starts in July, so each January, February, March, we get together our marketing and advertising plans for the year. And just like Abby mentioned, we look at what other agencies are doing. We look at trends in our county, our region. We look at big events, big projects, big regional things that are happening and piggyback off of those. We find that anytime you can work out with someone else. Transportation is a great industry because everyone likes to help each other. We're all in it together, so we work with our, partner agencies a lot. And we just really go year to year and find out what works, what doesn't, and make it a continual effort. A lot of traditional advertising we keep throughout the year, radio, a few print ads. The content marketing is where we shake it up, the blogs, social media, sometimes on-bus ads. The newer type of advertising for us are what we change up each year. So that way we have a consistent ads through going out the year, and then we can plug in some new, get a little variety in there.
That's great. Abby, do you have anything to add to that, or are you going along the same lines as Frederick in terms of your ongoing kind of marketing campaigns?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much along those same lines. If I could just ask one question, you mentioned a second ago with your app where you can purchase fares for other people and send them through that way. Are you seeing acts of goodwill, or sort of like the meal share program or pay it forward? Are people purchasing fares for those who can't really afford transit through this service?
That's a great point, Abby. We see that a lot when we had cash and paper transactions. Many times generous organizations, individuals, or groups would come into our office and purchase tickets in bulk. So now what we're doing is just trying to transition those and let people know that there's an easier way to do that, and you can really individualize it. So you can buy tickets in whatever quantity, literally small or large quantities of tickets, and push them to cell phones. We haven't seen a big transition yet, but that's because this technology is so very new. What we saw with the mobile ticketing app is that in the beginning, people were just buying individual trips, only one single trip instead of bulk tickets. And that's because we think people need to get comfortable with the system. They need to learn about it. They want to make sure it's going to work. It's just something new. And we feel the same way about our online ticket center. We absolutely see those acts of goodwill with the paper tickets purchases and cash transactions. But yeah, so we foresee that absolutely.
All right, thanks.
We did have a question come in here, and this is probably relevant to either one of you, but someone wrote in, I manage a paratransit program for seniors who don't use much technology. Could you discuss how you're marketing specifically to seniors?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a few new programs for our senior population. And as you may know, the need for paratransit services is increasing indefinitely. Seniors are increasing in population in our communities because demographics are that way. So what we're doing is really trying to hone in on the services that are important to seniors. We find a lot of community outreach is best for senior groups. So we do community events at senior centers, at larger events. We have a major event called Elder Expo. And I would encourage everyone to look in their communities to find organizations and networking groups that are focused on those different demographics. We have an Aging Networking Alliance, which is all of the senior care facilities, home sites, all different types of vendors get together each month and talk about what's happening in the community, events that are going on, and new things that are happening. And that has been a great resource for us to just simply as a platform to say, here are the services that we have and that you can use. And we actually have seen purchases on our tickets at the reduced rate. So seniors or those with reduced fare IDs are eligible to receive a reduced rate, and that's through cash, the paper tickets, or on our mobile ticketing app. And that's another thing we worked with TripSpark on, is to make sure that we had all of the same offerings we had in cash and paper on the mobile ticketing app, so it would be an easy transition, especially with our seniors. But it is interesting, more and more seniors are using technology these days, so it's just been a 101 type of process. We explain to them exactly how to use the technology. If they don't want to use the technology, we provide them with their other options. And I think that's important for us, is just giving all of the different options to especially the senior population. But the community outreach events are great to reach the seniors and our paratransit users, because that way you're physically there, you can explain to them, visually show them how to use something. And again, those little business cards or print brochures are great for those kind of events.
Thank you. Anything to add to that, Abby? Are you guys doing anything different to kind of market to seniors to use your rider-facing solutions?
Yeah, you bet. So for us, it's kind of funny. In Lethbridge, we have a huge population of younger people with students and sort of that new family, young adult age category. But then we also have a fairly substantial senior population. Surprising to us, they don't make up much of our ridership profile for our fixed route, but nonetheless, we do try to attract them and make sure that we're communicating with them. What we've done, we've got some pretty close-knit relationships with the two senior centers here in town. So we will often go there, put off information sessions to teach them about new technology. When we did our Breeze card system back in 2011, we went right to the agencies. We took our fare box with us. We showed them how to pay their fare on the fare box. We also loaded their fare cards right there for them and got them all set up. So we try to work really closely with them. We also have a pretty good travel training program in Lethbridge. So what we do is we do group orientation sessions, or we do one-on-ones. So we'll go out with our customers. We'll teach them everything about transit. We'll teach them how to ride the bus, if they're using a mobility device, how to make sure they're properly secured, how to pay their fare, how to make a transfer, and then now we've added how to use all of this new technology right to those travel training sessions. So we're really trying to make sure that for any of our groups that we're doing training with, that the content matches the demographic and they're able to understand it.
Are you guys going to do anything on the paratransit side for Ripple notifications, or potentially kind of the passenger portal? I think you're talking mostly on the fixed road side there. Any plans on the paratransit side?
You bet. So for paratransit, what we're hoping to do for the Ripple product is to do more direct marketing, so handouts right to our customers on the bus. We know who our customers are. We carry them just about every day. We're also hoping to talk to them on the phone and say, these are the services. Would you like a reminder call? Or a text or an email, and get them set up right there and explain to them what it's all about. We also want to go out to the agencies that help those seniors, like the senior centers, or to any of the different care homes, and do some I guess, outreach with them to let them know about the services. For the online booking that we're going to be adding right away to our Novus product, the big thing is, with that, you might think a lot of the seniors don't have a smartphone or don't go online, so how does this benefit them? But one of the big things we're looking at is they already have people that are helping them and supporting them in their lives to get to their appointments. So we're thinking that other people, whether it's their son booking a trip for them, or if it's the receptionist at their care facility, or whether it's their caregiver or someone at their adult daycare that's booking their trips for them now, waiting on hold to book the trips and speak to somebody, this online tool will then make their lives easier. So it will help with their customers that way.
So you guys kind of went through your marketing plans so far to launch these new initiatives. Obviously, some can be very expensive, others not so much. But how did you go about justifying the dollars or kind of setting that budget on getting the name out there? We'll start with you, Abby.
Yeah, so each year I have a set marketing budget, and I look at it and I try to plan out all the different things that are going to happen throughout the year and where I want to use up those marketing dollars. If I have a project going or new technology that I really want to push, I look at what are the best ways to get the best bang for my buck. We don't do a lot of TV ads. They're pretty expensive, and I find for our riders, a lot of them don't seem to say that they're necessary or that it's reaching them. Most of what I do is targeted print, stuff that we can pass out on the bus, or anything online through our website and through social media. I also have done, we have a contract for on-bus advertising and shelter advertising, so I do things on the side of the bus or on the side of the shelter so that it can, our customers can see it there as well.
Adrian, anything there? Is it kind of the same situation?
Yeah, just as Abby mentioned, and I think we're all interested in, is getting the maximum exposure for the least amount of dollars. So that is, of course, our goal every year. And so we at Transit try to strategize our spending based on the amount of impressions we can receive from each advertising platform. So for every advertising vendor we work with, we see how many impressions we're going to get from that ad platform, whether it's a display ad in the mall or just something we produce on social media, something we send to the newspaper. We want to know what audience we're going to have coming out of that. And then we take those impressions and divide it by the cost to get the cost per impression. And then we kind of base our advertising on that and then successes in the past. Again, what other agencies are doing. So we found great success in doing targeted national ads. So we provide the demographic and the messaging, say download our app now or visit 300 destinations in Frederick County for only $4 by using Transit Easy Fare, the mobile ticketing app. And then we send the demographics to our vendor and they push those out on the websites that people visit. Let's say the CNNs, the Times, or whatever the relevant websites are, and we see a significant increase in downloads or clicks, registrations, whatever we're promoting through targeted national ads. Then we combine it with some other types of traditional ads. We do some radio, and we do radio because that's another good bang for your buck, as Abby mentioned. A lot of times, along with the radio advertising, we'll get remote on-site events, so that way they can bring their large audience right to our transit center or where our train station, wherever we're trying to promote from. And that's really great. Sometimes they'll bring great things like Rita's ice cream or donuts or snacks, which is always helpful. And then we combine that with a lot of content marketing. We really work heavily on creating content for our newsletters, for blogs, for social media. So it's important to us to take a message and put that across a lot of platforms, and we find success in doing the content marketing, which is mostly free, and that's great. So we try to combine, those efforts that we do for free and match those with what we can get the most amount of impressions for, and we do that every year.
Great, and that actually leads us right into the next kind of topic is, not all marketing needs to be expensive. You both kind of touched on your social media presence. Maybe kind of just go through what are some of the reasons why you're investing in social media. You specifically brought up content marketing as part of that, but what sort of data information are you able to gather and kind of use from social media? Adrian, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, absolutely. We think social media is absolutely essential for transit riders, not only for just providing rider information like schedule changes, updates, that sort of thing. We know that our riders rely heavily, especially on our Twitter feed for that. We've also recently implemented a Twitter customer service feed, so that way we can really push most of our traffic, our questions to online. We're trying to get everyone in the mode of downloading the app, using your phone pretty much to answer all of your questions. So social media is a huge part of our effort. It's so efficient and it's free mostly unless you're advertising with it, and you can really get analytics, you can get the results. So we do that. We see how many followers we get, we see what the interest is, what our demographics are, what times people are looking at their social media accounts, so what times we should be posting. We also use content management tools like Hootsuite, so that way we can produce messaging, let's say on the weekends when we're not physically in the office, or during holidays, especially when we're trying to promote something where we're, again, not in the office or there's a schedule change. So that's been really important for us. And for our mobile ticketing app specifically, we did some really neat things. On an iPhone, we created several promotional videos which were less than a minute long, extremely easy and free to create, and they looked almost professionally done, which is the great thing about technology these days. And we only promoted those through social media, our Facebook and Twitter accounts, and they were just general promotion about the mobile ticketing app before it was launched, how to download it, and how to do simple things like buying a ticket or planning your trip. And those were really successful. We got thousands of impressions. They got thousands of views. So doing those kind of simple things have a huge impact on social media, and so that's why we are so invested into using our platforms, which are mostly Facebook and Twitter, and I know some agencies go beyond that, but it's really interesting to tie in those other things like the blogs and newsletters to your social media to kind of make this one whole message.
So we've got a question in here. Do you boost posts for social media? I'm guessing that this is speaking to kind of more the paid side. You mentioned you were kind of doing some retargeting ads. Do you do any other paid social media?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. We don't in Frederick County. I recently was at a presentation on social media for transportation, and the person presenting made a great point, is that even if you throw $5 behind your advertising that you're putting on social media, your content, you're promoting it, and it'll show up better in your feed. So I think that's something we're considering because, I think when you think of advertising on social media, it's heavily costly, and apparently not so. So I think that's interesting to keep in mind, is that even a small amount of money can really boost your posts, and we're definitely considering that in Frederick County, but as of now, it's all unpaid.
Great. Abby, let's learn a little bit more about kind of what Lethbridge is doing in terms of social media and how you're leveraging it and kind of the importance of it for you getting your technologies out there.
Yeah, so I think Frederick County is doing a lot better job than us. We definitely at Lethbridge Transit do not have good or very many marketing resources. So we rely heavily on the city communications team, who works to promote everything from garbage pickup schedules, snow removal, anything at all. So what we've been doing currently is, if we have anything going on or anything that we are wanting to get out there, we work with our communications team to get our posts out there. We've done different ones for if we're out at an event, we invite people to come and join us, launching new technology, reminding people about new technology. So we definitely do use social media, but I don't think we're taking as great of advantage of it as we should be or could be.
That kind of tails right into the next kind of conversation. And one of the biggest trends in marketing right now that we're seeing is definitely customer advocacy, and how that translates, I guess, in this circumstance is really rider advocacy, and how you're able to kind of leverage your riders through social media or other means to kind of promote, get feedback about your services. Now, Abby sent in letter quote from an actual rider. I'll let you guys read it, but it's a great example of someone providing feedback on the services that they're offering. I thought I'd just ask both of you, do you have any sort of programs, or are there any programs that you're thinking of doing to kind of engage your riders, to gauge their feedback and kind of use them as advocates for your technology?
Yeah, so Lethbridge Transit right now is currently going through a master plan process. So we're going to be developing a master plan that's going to help guide us short term for the next 3 to 5 years, and then long term out to 20 years. Part of our plan is involving a huge amount of customer and community engagement. We've got customers that have expressed interest, and we're hoping to bring back sort of our transit advisory committee that we used to have many, many years ago. I hope that this advisory committee can help us achieve new greatness, but I hope that they can do some advocacy for us as well.
Okay, and Adrian, do you have any plans to do some sort of advocacy programs at Frederick County, or maybe you already have one running?
Not a specific campaign, but we also try to, one of the great things about transportation is you get feedback, both positive and negative, but you can really use that to your advantage to find out what's working, what's not, what you need to do better in the future. And so we have a 5-year transportation development plan, I'm sure similar to Abby's, and we use customer feedback for that in terms of surveys, physical meetings. So we definitely keep track of every commendation and complaint we get, and then we assess those. The same happens on social media. Once you open the floodgates for feedback, you really have to manage that. So we've tried to take advantage of that situation by implementing the live chat on our website and the Twitter customer service feed to really get that kind of feedback. We've seen the best feedback for our mobile ticketing app from our younger demographic, especially the college students, because again, it's the same type of technology as the Ubers, the Airbnb, those apps that are really simple to use. They're easy, they're convenient, as I mentioned earlier, and that's what we feel our Easy Fare app is to our riders. It's kind of the all-in-one solution that makes it easier. And so especially for college students, people that are commuting to and from jobs every day, really all of our riders are giving great feedback. We had about 16,000 trips offset in the first 6 months of our launch, which we found was really, really exciting. Again, about 30% of our Summer Freedom Pass sales were on our mobile ticketing app, and we only hope to continue to see that grow. But any suggestions or feedback we get, especially about our new technologies like the mobile ticketing app, we take those to heart. We really look into those because, our riders are the people that make our system. So, yeah, absolutely. I think it's crucial to get feedback, whether it's positive or negative, so that way you can kind of assess it and determine where you need to go in the future.
I think if I can just add, one of the big things about getting feedback is not waiting for the complaints or the commendations to come in. With us, we try to go out into the community, go to our downtown terminal and talk to our customers, go to different events throughout the community and talk to them, and we gather our feedback that way. Like I said, I recently attended the Ready, Set, Go fair, and for us, being able to speak to those people, which make up a large portion of our ridership, it was really beneficial to be able to hear the feedback about routes, about our mobile services, about different things. So I think it's really great to get out there and have that FaceTime with your customers.
We actually had a few questions come in, and maybe we'll just answer a few of them now because they're kind of related to specifically the topic that we're right on now. But how do you measure the success of the campaigns you're running or have run in the past?
So for Lethbridge, when we're doing any sort of campaign, we'll monitor our website with analytics and see what kind of hits we're getting, and also on our social media, what kind of feedback we're getting, or how many views or shares or that sort of thing. So yeah, we definitely go to the analytics to measure our success.
And in Frederick County, I think, the next most important step when you're talking about marketing after determining your demographic is to get a goal and the objectives to meet that goal or goals. So once we have outlined, what our general goals are for the year and then what our goals are for specific projects we're working on, we assess this based on similar things that Abby said, social media, follows, insights, newsletters. We look at our click-through rates, our open rates, where people are interested in learning about We do a lot of website analytics because we want to know where people are going, what they're interested in, how can we tailor our website to meet our riders, what technology they're using. And just like Abby had mentioned earlier in the presentation, we see a lot of traffic coming from mobile phones, so we were better able to advertise our mobile ticketing app to those people. So it really is kind of a full circle. You know, you get your plan together and then you assess it based on those kind of analytics you can get from really all over the place, which is the great thing about anything online is that you can get analytics from it. So that's really interesting.
Excellent, thank you. So we after talking to you guys, we thought we'd sum up kind of the key points into one slide, and you guys definitely touched on all of these. But I'll briefly go through them, and then we'll kind of head into some additional questions that we have. Early when you're marketing technology is definitely research and understanding the target demographic. Both of you talked about different targets that you've gone after, from campus, universities, to how do you get seniors to leverage your technology. So definitely understanding the demographics of your riders and where they're coming from. Determine where you can afford to advertise. Frederick's obviously spending, it sounds like, a lot on different marketing techniques, and Lethbridge is doing some different things, very community-focused, both doing a lot of different things to get the technologies out there, but leveraging what you have available. Social, I'm adding that one right now because everyone keeps bringing that up. We also had someone write in about some big successes that they were getting through social just by doing kind of a modest spend on an ad. They were getting massive returns on impressions for those, so definitely something to look at. Can you use that feedback and advocacy? Happy riders, hopefully they're using your technologies more, and really aligning the events with your target demographic. Lethbridge brought up a bunch of different examples of how they're going in the community. Frederick Handy also talked about finding those community events within their communities to go after. So those are some of the key takeaways. So we really appreciate both of you guys calling in and going over these things. But we had a few questions that I just wanted to go over right now, and I save these actually to the end because they're a little more product focused. So the first one is, does either MyRide or EasyFare platforms allow for notifications from the transit agency, such as updates and alerts?
Abby, I can speak to that. On EasyFare, I'm fairly certain it will allow for notifications, but we choose not to do that. We really wanted this application to be as simplistic as possible and not interfere with our riders. We do have a county-based alert system that we use for ridership changes, scheduling, that sort of thing. I do think that there is, an opportunity for us to do that in terms of special promotions, like if you buy X amount of tickets, you could get one free, that sort of thing. We haven't quite gotten there yet. But for now, at the beginning, when you're starting up, I think really focusing on how to use the product, making it easy for riders, that was especially our goal. So we haven't used any notifications on our system yet.
Great, and one more question here, and this is actually directed to Lethbridge. But the question is, during the project planning phase of MyRide, did Lethbridge execute any ROI investigations or consider MyRide project solutions, versus other ones, maybe an open source planning tool versus going with something like MyRide?
Yeah, so we had a few different thoughts. We thought about, did we want to, in addition to MyRide, do an app for iPhone, Android. The city is going to be publishing open data. We've had a couple of different app developers talk to us about our data and making it available for their apps. So I think that's something that we're going to be moving toward. But I think for the start, we really wanted to be able to control the quality, the experience for our customers. So that's why we were really big on having MyRide.
Once again, I'd like to thank Adrian and Abby for both participating in this and really shedding some light on how you're getting the information out on the new technologies to your riders. So thank you very much for helping us out with this.
Yeah,
no problem.